after the Holy Qur'an was burned by a Swedish extremist on June 28, 2023. A wave of anger sweeps the world. 1.5 billion Muslims are rising up against Sweden. The government of extremist Swedish state encourages extremism and terrorism, and lenient with those who promote the ideas of hatred and Islamophobia. Arab and Islamic calls to the endowment of diplomatic representation and investment in the state of 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 Islam. Global reactions swept the Islamic world, which has a population of 1.5 billion Muslims around the world, after a person called Das Sloan Momika, 37 years old, an Iraqi national, who fled from his country years ago to Sweden, burned and tearing up a copy of the Holy Qur'an in Sweden in front of the Great Mosque in Stockholm during the Eid al-Adha prayer. While the Swedish extremist state police announced that they had authorized the organization of a demonstration whose organizer plans to burn a copy of the Qur'an outside the Stockholm mosque, coinciding with the start of Eid al-Adha on June 28, 2023, and claimed that this was free and individual expression against 1.5 billion Muslims around the world. Egypt. Egypt has expressed its strong condemnation of the burning of a copy of the Holy Qur'an by an extremist, stressing that it is an act that contradicts the values of respect for others and their sanctities, and fuels feelings of hatred among the peoples. In a statement, the Egyptian Ministry of Foreign Affairs expressed its deep concern over the recurring incidents of burning the Holy Qur'an, the rise of Islamophobia, and recent crimes of blasphemy in some European countries, affirming its total rejection for all hateful practices that affect the constance and religious beliefs of Muslims. Egypt also stressed the responsibility of states to prevent calls for incitement and hate crimes, and to stop those practices that would undermine the security and stability of societies, stressing the need to uphold the common denominators of tolerance, acceptance of the other and cooperation. Al-Salami Street among the people. Holy Azhar. Al-Azhar al-Sharif called on the governments of Islamic and Arab countries to take serious and unified stances against these violations, which cannot be accepted under any circumstances, and which carry criminality and extremism against Islamic sanctities. Al-Azhar al-Sharif also called on all Islamic and Arab peoples, and those with a living conscience, to renew the boycott of Swedish products, after repeating the unacceptable violations against the noble Qur'an, and the permanent provocations of the masses of Muslims around the world, under the banner of false flag of opinion and expression. League of Arab States. The League of Arab States, representing 22 countries, also condemned this reprehensible practice, which affects the constance and religious beliefs of Muslims. Ahmed Abul Gheit, Secretary General of the League of Arab States, condemned in the strongest terms the Swedish authorities' permission to burn a copy of the Holy Qur'an at the hands of extremists, on the first days of the blessed Eid al-Adha. Abul Gheit said, in a statement on June 29, 2023, "The responsibility of governments is not to encourage extremism or to be lenient with those who promote ideas of hatred and Islamophobia, but rather to confront these tendencies firmly, stressing that contempt for the beliefs of others is not an issue. The freedom of expression in something. The Organization of Islamic Cooperation. The Organization of Islamic Cooperation said that the blatant and repeated assault on our Islamic belief, under the pretext of freedom of opinion, perpetuates hatred and strife. Violation of sanctities deepens the value and ideological confrontation." Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia also condemned the burning of the Qur'an. And the Saudi Ministry of Foreign Affairs said, "These hateful and repeated acts cannot be accepted with any justification, and they clearly incite hatred, exclusion, and intransigence." Raya. Palestine. The Palestinian Ministry of Foreign Affairs condemned the burning of a copy of the Qur'an and considered it a flagrant violation of the principles of human rights and the values of tolerance, acceptance of the other, democracy and peaceful coexistence among followers of all religions. Syria. The Syrian government condemned the disgraceful act, on one of the holiest days for Muslims, by a Swedish extremist with the permission and approval of the extremist Swedish government. Jordan. The Jordanian Ministry of Foreign Affairs also summoned the Swedish ambassador in Amman and informed her of Jordan's strong protest against the Swedish government's permission for extremists to burn a copy of the noble Qur'an in the capital, Stockholm, and considered it a racist act of dangerous hate, and a manifestation of Islamophobia inciting violence and insulting religions, and confirmed that such actions cannot be justified in the context of freedom of expression at all. Lebanon. The Lebanese Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Emigrants issued a statement condemning, in the strongest terms, the process of burning the Holy Qur'an in Sweden, by a group of extremists. The second one cannot be justified by an excuse freedom of expression, as it fuels hatred and generates violence. The UAE. The UAE Ministry of Foreign Affairs also summoned the Swedish ambassador to inform her of the state's protest and strong condemnation. It also informed her of its denunciation of its evasion, its international responsibility, and its lack of respect for values. Social media, in this regard, and handing her a protest note. Iraq. As Iraq condemned the decision of the Swedish authorities. An extremist was granted permission to burn a copy of the Qur'an. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs said in a statement that these actions reflect an aggressive and hateful spirit that is not related to freedom of speech. Onion. Rather, it is an act of racism and incitement to violence and hatred. Iran. The spokesman for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Nasser Kanani, said, "The government of Iran and its people, like all other Muslims and free people in the world, do not tolerate such abuse and strongly condemn it." Kuwait. For its part, Kuwait called for holding the perpetrators accountable and not allowing them to exploit the principle of freedoms as a pretext to offend the true Islamic religion and all other heavenly religions. Morocco. The Kingdom of Morocco said that this hostile and irresponsible act hits the wall with the feelings of more than 1 billion Muslims in this sacred period that coincides with the season of Hajj and Eid al-Adha. Turkey. President Recep Tayyip Erdogan strongly condemned Sweden for allowing a demonstrator to burn the Qur'an. Erdogan said in televised statements, "Sooner or later, we will teach the symbols of Western arrogance that insulting Muslims is not freedom of thought," adding that he condemns the incident in the strongest possible terms. Russia. Russian President Vladimir Putin said during a visit to the Friday Mosque in Derbent, "Russia has great respect for the Quran and the religious feelings of Muslims. And the lack of respect for this holy book in Russia is a crime." Putin added, "In our country, burning the Quran is a crime according to the Constitution and Article 282 of the Criminal Code of Russia, as well as disrespect and incitement to hatred between religions. And we will always abide by these legislative rules." America. The deputy spokesperson for the U.S. State Department, Vedant Patel, commenting on the burning of the Quran in Sweden, said that the United States considers the burning of religious texts disrespectful and harmful, adding that this does not affect Mo. Washington stands by the need for the country to join NATO as soon as possible. Maybe.